Hi, my name is Marshall Epstein, owner of Rosedale Farms with Lynn Epstein. The farm is it's going on its 104th year. Can't believe we made it 104 years. Anyway, I took over the farm from my dad in 1983. It was back then pretty much all fruits and vegetables. We had locations. Actually, we had a stand over in West Hartford at Moss Garden Center. We had one in Suffield. We had one in Newington. So we really went to where the people were. Fast forward, we kept looking for ways to expand the farm. We already started in the early 1990s. We had a corn maze, and that was a brand new concept, and as we call it, I think, agritourism. And we were looking ways to continue expanding. And I said, well, maybe we'll try something like growing grapes. And we had the good fortune of knowing Charlie Stevenson right around the corner, who had a gorgeous vineyard already and made a great bottle of wine. And we kind of started talking with him, a day like today, 110 degrees, typical good farming day, as long as we can irrigate 24/7. And we started talking, and said, well, maybe we should start planting some grapes and grape vines. We don't plant the grapes, you plant vines who create the grapes. Just for some of you who might not know how things work. So anyway, we started planting the vines in 1999, and 2003, I think, or 2004, we had our first vintage. And we only had a couple thousand bottles, and it was people, we had a great article in the Hartford Courant, the new vineyard in Simsbury. And I think at that time it was only less than 12 or 14 vineyards in Connecticut. I think now we have over 50. Wineries were very new. Charlie Stevenson was a great winemaker for us. John Kozlowski is the one who started the vineyard. He was our kind of vineyard manager, my son-in-law, and he did a fantastic job at growing the grapes. And that's how we started.
Hi there, I'm Morgan Wilson, winemaker and vineyard manager here at Rosedale Farms and Vineyards. I am celebrating 10 years here. I started as the marketing intern my senior year of college in 2014, where I helped develop the social media, website, and other platforms that we now utilize for the farm. I then took on an apprenticeship for 5 years with the previous winemaker, Charles Stevenson, learning the ins and outs of winemaking in Connecticut. And in 2020, I took the helm and have been winemaker and vineyard manager since. It's a fun adventure every day here. There's always something new going on, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love working in Simsbury, and this is the place to be. Fun is always in season. So, local wine in Connecticut is something that's been around since the colonial times. But if you look at our state seal, it's even got grapevines on it. Now, we're an industry of over 40 farm wineries in the state. So economically, there's a large impact, as well as the tourist draw, to bring people in from all over the world to check out Connecticut wine and Connecticut agriculture. Agritourism plays a large part in the tourist aspects of Connecticut. In Connecticut, we have rather harsh winters. These winters are not conducive to growing the traditional grape varietals that everybody knows and sees in your local liquor or package stores. We grow what are called French hybrid varietals, which were developed in the 1900s to circumnavigate a problem called phylloxera, which was a ground louse or a relative of nematodes that effectively killed the grapevine from the roots up. These hybrids and Native American varietals, such as Concord, can withstand this problem. That's part of the reason why they grow so well here. The winters cause a lot of injury to the vines, and the varieties that we grow can withstand temperatures down to -20 to -40 degrees Fahrenheit, which is quite miraculous. Some of the other varietals are only hardy down to 0 or 10 degrees Fahrenheit. In addition, we have these hot, humid summers that we get to enjoy here, which pose an issue with certain fungal infections and mildews that we have to contend with here in Connecticut. That's why a lot of grape growing is grown in dry areas where there isn't a whole lot of humidity, and they don't have to contend with those issues. We contend with it by doing minimal sprays of fungicides and other substances to protect the crop and ensure that we have a viable product to bring to market. Here we are in the vineyard. We have about 14 different grape varieties here at Rosedale Vineyards, spread out amongst reds and whites. How they all start off is kind of like what we have here. It's a rather rare varietal called Menu 6. It was developed in France at the turn of the century. It's kind of fun. The Menu is very similar to like a Sauvignon Blanc, but does wonderful here, and it's very low maintenance, which is nice. It'll grow straight up. These trellises that we have here, we use a system called vertical shoot positioning. And what that means is this little baby vine will grow up. It'll create a trunk up to about here. We will lay down some arms that we call cordons, and then the cordons will send shoots vertically up through these wires, and we try to contain it all within this lovely envelope. All the fruit would be down here where the cordons are. It's called the fruiting wire. And this little vine right here is only about 2 years old. And in about another year to 2 years, we'll be getting our first harvest off of it. It takes between 3 and 5 years to get a vine established. And typically here in New England, depending on the variety, you can expect about 20 years out of a good vine. On this side, we have a red varietal called St. Croix, which was developed by the University of Minnesota. This variety is actually hardy down to about negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's a little extreme, but we do get those temperatures here in New England on a rare occasion. So this is a variety that's voracious. We have to always attend to it. Kind of a lovely pain to keep this in check. The wine that this produces is kind of fun. It goes into our Luz Red, and it adds a nice little bit of pepper to it. And that's kind of a hallmark of St. Croix, is a little bit of pepper on the finish. Let's go over to a few other rows and check out some other varieties. So in our vineyard here at Rosedale, we have about 2.5 acres under vine, all of which, with the exception of spraying fungicides, is all done by hand. So it's very labor intensive, but we do a lot of wettings and we have to make sure it looks picture perfect. We are right now in what I call our field blend rows, because over the years, these 3 rows have been interplanted with some 4, 5, 6 different grape varietals as vines die out and new ones get placed in. We harvest the whole row all at once, and it'll have a bunch of different grapes in it, and they'll all be different levels of ripeness and acidity. So it makes it very unique. And typically, it's pretty nice. So if you want to look over here real quick, we have a quick example of trying to determine between 2 different grape varieties. Right here, you can see this little bit more round leaf compared to this one right here, which is a little bit more jagged. You can also tell this one right here has a little more red in the stem. This is a variety called Lacrosse, and this is a variety called Cayuga. So you can use it kind of like trees to identify different grapes. A lot of them are very similar, but there are a few that stand out. We can see some of the oldest vines we have here. And these are about 20 years old. You can see how thick these trunks are. They're pretty sizable. And these are a variety called Traminette, which is a hybridization of a variety that you may have heard of called Gewürztraminer, which makes a nice kind of spicy white wine. Wonderful on a hot day, ice cold, fantastic. That's a little taste of what we have here in the vineyard. There's all sorts of nooks and crannies, things to discover. Mother Nature likes to put some bird nests here and there, and you know, we do run into bears out here on occasion that want a little snack. We chase them away, but we let them get a little taste. So here at Rosedale Farms, we are blessed with being so close to the Farmington River, and over the course of millennia, there have been many different deposits of soil and minerals in this particular area. You know, we're right next to a mountain here, Talcott Mountain, and then right near the river. So in years of flood, the soils get replenished, and over time, this has become some of the most prime farmland in Connecticut. This particular parcel, we've been told by archaeologists from Yukon, has seen some form of agriculture even back to before colonial times, which is kind of fun. And we do occasionally find arrowheads and all sorts of other artifacts whenever we prepare the fields. So one of our more popular wines, Three Sisters, is a blend of Sauvignon Blanc and Cayuga. It's mostly Cayuga. Most years it's around 80% Cayuga, but with the remainder being Sauvignon Blanc. So it's a fun gateway to get people to try our 100% Cayuga, which is quite similar. And then that's kind of how we're educating the populace on the grape varieties that we grow here. Now we also carry that into the reds that we grow and the reds that we produce in the winery. We take varietals from small family vineyards in California. We get the grapes here at the winery, we crush them, destem them, ferment them, and we do a Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre blend. But then we pair that with a varietal that we grow here called Maréchal Foch, which is a lovely red varietal that lends itself nicely to the traditional GSM blend. And that's kind of another way of getting people to try something that we grow here while also pairing the new and the old world. We can't wait to see you down on the farm.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.